Have you ever stopped to think that your beliefs about yourself, well, they don't just reflect who you are, they actually create who you become? Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful ideas in psychology, a concept called mindset.
So I want you to imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. But this isn't just any old mirror, okay? It doesn't show your face. It reflects your deepest beliefs about your own potential. And what you see in that mirror, it shapes every single action you take, every challenge you decide to face, and how you deal with every single setback. And here's the thing. This mirror can show you two totally different reflections. One side kind of whispers to you that your abilities are fixed. You know, they're permanent, set in stone. But the other side, it says that who you are today is just the starting line. And trust me, the reflection we choose to believe in, well, it changes absolutely everything.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's get practical. Let's imagine two students both facing the exact same challenge, but seeing it through completely different eyes.
Okay, so meet Alex and Maya. Both of them just got a C on a tough math test. Alex sees that grade and his stomach just drops. The thought that flashes through his mind is, I'm just not smart enough. For him, that C is a final verdict on his intelligence. But Maya, she sees the exact same C and thinks, okay, that approach didn't work. I need a new strategy. Time to practice more. For her, it's not a verdict, it's just feedback. So Alex is operating from what the pioneering researcher Dr. Carol Dweck calls the fixed mindset. This is the core belief that you're basically born with a certain amount of talent or intelligence. And that's that. When you see the world this way, every challenge becomes a test, and failure isn't just a simple setback. No, it's a judgment on who you are deep down.
Maya, on the other hand, is the perfect example of the growth mindset. This is the belief that your basic abilities can be grown and cultivated through effort and persistence. Now, it's not about believing anyone can just wake up and become Einstein, but it is about believing that your potential is kind of unknown, and the dedication is how you find out what you're capable of.
You know, this fixed mindset, it might sound kind of safe, but it's a real trap. It's like choosing to live your life in a glass house. It creates this constant feeling of being vulnerable and this desperate need to protect what you think is a fragile, unchangeable you. And this trap plays out in some really predictable ways. To avoid that feeling of failure, you start dodging challenges altogether. You know, why try if you might fail? Any little bit of criticism feels like a huge personal attack. You feel this relentless pressure to prove you're smart, to prove you're talented, building up this ego that's so fragile it can just shatter at the first sign of real difficulty.
So, if the fixed mindset is a trap, how in the world do you get out? Well, the key isn't some complex psychological strategy. It all comes down to a single, powerful, three-letter word. Picture this. A teacher tells a student who's really struggling, "You're not there." Oof, that statement feels so final, right? Like a door slamming shut. It feels like a judgment. It feels like failure. But what happens if we just add one tiny word? Yet. You're not there. Yet. See? That one little word changes everything. It totally reframes failure. It's no longer the end of the road. It's just a point on a journey. It creates a path forward, a bridge from where you are now to where you could be. It's the whole growth mindset in a nutshell.
I mean, think about Thomas Edison. He wasn't sitting there feeling discouraged after thousands of attempts to invent the light bulb. For him, each failure was just another step forward. He hadn't failed, he just found 10,000 ways that wouldn't work. He hadn't succeeded yet. Now, this isn't just some nice theory for students or famous inventors. This battle between these two mindsets plays out every single day in the highest stakes arenas of life. I'm talking about professional sports, the cutthroat corporate world, you name it. Let's take the world of sports. We tend to worship champions like they were just born with some kind of superhuman talent. But you know what? Their true secret weapon is almost always their mindset. Michael Jordan, I mean, come on, arguably the greatest basketball player of all time, was famously cut from his high school varsity team. A fixed mindset would have heard, "You're just not good enough." But for Jordan, that was just fuel for the fire. In his own words, "I failed over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed."
And this doesn't just apply to people, it applies to entire companies. Just look at Enron. They built what you'd call a know-it-all culture, where they worshipped innate brilliance. This obsession with looking smart led to hiding mistakes, massive cover-ups, and eventually a total catastrophic collapse. Now contrast that with Microsoft under Satya Nadella. He shifted the whole company to a learn-it-all culture, one that encourages experimentation, celebrates learning from mistakes, and is all about continuous growth.
Okay,
So we've seen the two mindsets, we've seen their impact. Now for the most important question of all. Can you actually change? Is your mindset itself fixed? And the answer to that is a huge, resounding no.
And this, right here, is the most hopeful part of this entire idea. Your mindset is not your destiny. We know from neuroscience about neuroplasticity, the brain's amazing ability to rewire itself, that with conscious effort, you can absolutely shift from a fixed to a growth mindset. It's just like training a muscle.
So how do you actually start training that muscle? Well, it really comes down to 3 steps. First, just start to notice that fixed mindset voice in your head. When do you feel that defensive urge or that fear of a new challenge? That's your trigger. Step 2, you got to consciously challenge that voice. When it says, you can't do this, you answer back, yet. And third, you just have to practice. This isn't a one-and-done fix. It's a continuous process of choosing growth over fear every single day.
And so, we come full circle. We're back where we started, standing right in front of that mirror, the one that reflects not just who we are, but who we have the potential to become.
That fixed mindset is always whispering, stay safe, prove yourself, whatever you do, don't risk failure. But the growth mindset, it's an invitation. It says, step forward, learn, stumble, and grow. So the real question isn't what the mirror is showing you right now, it's which reflection you're going to choose to step into tomorrow.